a film, 12 Angry Men from 1957, directed by Sidney Lumet. So, going in, here's what you know. A young man has been accused of murder. And the film takes us through the jury's thought process as they try and come up with a unanimous verdict. And it's, you use the word star studded. Henry Fonda, Lee J. Cobb, Jack Warden, E.G. Marshall, Ed Begley Sr., Martin Balsam, Jack Klugman, John Fiedler, several others. Um, Fonda is sort of the voice of reason, and Lee J. Cobb seems to be bubbling over with a lot of anger. And the film is like a crucible as these people go through their reasons why they're voting one way or the other. And we see how a lot of what they base their vote on has to do with issues that have nothing to do with this person that's accused. Their personal biases, their personal issues that maybe someone has a kid that they don't get along with, or what have you. And some are like Jack Klugman's character wants to get out of there as soon as he can because he's got a ball game to go see. He wants to just not be there. None of them want to be there. Um, I would think a member of the cast is also heat. It's a hot, sweaty room. And it takes its toll on all of them. And nerves fray all through the film. Because you know what? If those 12 men weren't angry and they were 12 reasonable, happy men, it would have been a featurette. You know? It's, by the way, it's in wonderful black and white, and Lumet's direction is superb. He takes you right in their faces when you need to be. That for this was, I believe, his directorial debut, and he hit the ground running. But the relationships are fascinating within it. You see that Cobb mostly tries to flare up against Fonda, but with little success. But he has no problem, say, shooting down John Fiedler or belittling him, or people that are set in their way, like E.G. Marshall, and someone who can be a hothead sometimes is like Jack Warden. So everyone has their moments, and we get, as we start working through the case, we get a lot of insight into the jurors and their motivations. And even though you don't necessarily like everyone in it as a human being, as the character that is, you you get insight. And the actors in the script are of a caliber that they draw you in, and they don't feel like cardboard cutouts. They feel like people. And there are moments like there's a character who's an old man, and they're a very old man, and Fonda has great sympathy for him, and it has some touching moments because of that. There are lots of touching moments here. There are moments of humor. There's a lot of thoughtful stuff. And even though at the end they reach a verdict, you still wonder. You don't come away 100% convinced one way or the other. And I think that also shows you in real life what real juries go through. Sometimes a wrong verdict is a verdict that those people felt, or they would have gone the other way, but there wasn't anything, it didn't tick X, Y, and Z boxes. So it makes you, if you allow it to, it makes you think a lot. And it's worth your time seeing. It's also worth re-seeing because at first you get caught up in the emotions and the dialogue. But if you allow yourself to think as they're thinking, as they're, are you for or against, guilty, not guilty, guilty, not guilty, guilty, and as that goes along in the course of the film, there's a lot to ponder. So, and it's also interesting in that most of the film takes place in this one little jury room, and it's a small room, and that's deliberate, and it's almost claustrophobic in a sense, and Lumet takes you there. Lumet takes you into their experience, which is what a good director ought to do. He ought to communicate to you, here's what these characters are going through. Here's why you've chosen to watch this film. I'm giving you a story that's going to pull you out of your life for the length of this film and into this film. Maybe afterwards you think of how parts of it resonate with your views or your things that happen that you can, as I think about the film, there's moments in it that I think really apply to our world right now. This film could be made right now. So, 12 Angry Men, 1957. By the way, there are remakes. Do not watch them. They do not carry the power that this version does. So, that is our film for this week. I hope you watch it. I thank you for listening to me. Give it a chance. Superb. Bye bye.